Hey Blades fans, welcome to the 2023-2024 ECHL season and welcome to another edition of your Florida Everblades pregame show. Will Hentschel alongside Jake Maurice. And Jake, we are back. It's not official, it's not regular season, but we are, as of tonight, playing hockey once again for the upcoming season.
Yeah, and it feels great. I mean, only a couple weeks away from putting another banner up in the rafters here at Hertz Arena, but a couple preseason games against a rival Orlando Solar Bears to get the guys going, make some crucial lineup decisions, figure out the right mix of players for the second straight title defense season for the Everblades.
We're trying to hashtag run it back again, but two matchups against the Solar Bears tonight, October 13th, and tomorrow, October 14th, both puck drops at 7:30. What are the guys really going to be looking to do to get not just a strong performance against the Solar Bears, but to learn something about the team and figure out some things to improve on?
Well, it's more about learning the idiosyncrasies of the system for the new guys. For the older guys like Pendenza and Chow, they already know this kind of stuff. It's more just about getting up to game speed. But for the new guys, you want to show that you can play the Everblades style of play at a high level. You want to show that you know how to execute their forecheck, their breakout from the defensive zone, all that important stuff. You want to show that you have chemistry with the guys and show that every shift you're a hard worker, right? No one's going to make this roster just by scoring a goal in a preseason game or something like that. You're going to make this roster if you show that you know how to play the Everblades style of game and you know how to play it consistently, always giving your best effort. No one wants a guy that's not going to give his best. You're not going to win Kelly Cups if you're not going to do that, and the Everblades are focused on winning a third straight Kelly Cup.
It's going to be pretty hard not to make the team if you're playing a 60-minute, 200-foot game. But Jake, let's talk about the Solar Bears really quick. Haven't made the playoffs since 2019 and have lost some of their key players. They're always a tough matchup, but they're looking a little weaker than they did last year.
Yeah, it was a team that kind of petered out at the end of last season. They lost 4 of their top 5 scorers, either to retirement, some of the guys going overseas, others to other ECHL teams. So certainly a team with a different mix, but they also added potentially the biggest free agent acquisition of any ECHL team in the offseason with Aaron Luchuk coming back over to Orlando, spending last season overseas. I mean, this is a guy who led the league in points just a couple of years ago, so that's a huge addition for their squad. It's a team that has heightened expectations. They expect to be in the playoff mix right to the end. They want to make the playoffs this year. They're tired of having the longest drought in the South Division, one of the longest in the entire ECHL, and they're certainly tired of watching their rivals to the South win back-to-back Kelly Cup. So they would love to be the team to end the title defense.
Certainly a new look, but a different threat, Orlando Solar Bears. Jake, let's go between the pipes really quick. Evan Cormier and Cam Johnson, probably one of the most formidable goaltending pairs in the ECHL this season. We saw both of them on the ice, so we can't really say who's going to be a starter, but Cam Johnson has won back-to-back playoff MVPs, so you got to think he's going to get the nod. But let's just talk about goaltending as a whole. This team can lean on these two goalies and really get carried to some victories.
Yeah, these are two goalies with tons of ECHL experience. Evan Cormier, he was starter last year for the Kalamazoo Wings, put up decent numbers on a team that was not decent, so sometimes that can be an encouraging sign. You have to look at the whole story with a goaltender, not just their strict performance in the crease. And Cormier and Johnson, they were teammates a few years ago back in the AHL with the Binghamton Devils. So there's certainly that camaraderie inside the goaltending room, in the video room, all that important stuff. Cam Johnson, I mean, back-to-back playoff MVPs, back-to-back Kelly Cup champion, fan favorite. There's really not much to say. And in terms of starting in the preseason, I imagine both of them will get a good amount of ice time. You want them both to be as ready to go as possible for next week when the team starts off the season on the road in Orlando.
Certainly, certainly. Let's get to some keys of the game. Florida had a pretty productive training camp, but what are some things that you see that the team needs to do to get a win tonight against Orlando?
Well, there's been a lot of focus on the transition game in the training camp. Quick up the ice drills, moving with speed, moving the puck, getting stuff going on the rush. So the coaches are going to be looking for that. They're also going to be looking for who's willing to go into the boards and do the dirty work, getting those loose pucks. There's some big defense on Orlando. They pride themselves on being strong out front of the net and in the corners. Who's going to be able to go in there and show that they can do that, especially among the rookies who've never played pro hockey. They've been used to playing guys their age. Now you're playing guys that are older, bigger, stronger. You got to show that you're up for that. And then always special teams. It hasn't been as much of a focus as the transition game in the training camp, but it certainly has been something the Blades have been working on. And last year during the regular season, special teams were a little bit of a struggle. They turned it on in the playoffs, and it was a big reason that helped them win that second straight Kelly Cup. But you always want to have your special teams moving the right way to start, and you can find some weapons where a guy can show if you can kill a penalty or score on a power play. That's a big leg up for you to make this roster.
One player who is not a rookie, but you should certainly look out for tonight, is Bobo Carpenter. Only participated in 5 games last season before his season was cut short, but had an unbelievably productive 5 games in that span. He's looking to come back, play a full ECHL season, and score a whole lot of goals.
Yeah, he's a really talented player. It was a really great thing to get him back on the roster. I mean, through those games that he played, he was arguably the Blades' best player in those matchups. Every time he's been with Florida, he's been a point-per-game player. Lethal shot. We talked about the power play. He's a guy who's going to be a big factor on that, and he's also a great character in the locker room, big voice in there to bind the guys together. So it's going to be great to see him back out there. Also tonight, Oliver Chow making his return with the Florida Everblades after a really strong rookie campaign with the squad. He'll be expected to take on an elevated role with a number of players from the Everblades having walked off into the sunset. Oliver Chow is expected to be taking on a much bigger role on and off the ice for this group this season.
Some new cast of characters and a lot of returning faces as the Everblades get the 2023-2024 preseason underway tonight. Puck drop at 7:30. Warm-ups in just a little bit. We'll see you then.